So let's start our webinar. So this month we've got a special webinar over New York City. Okay, we've got a chance to have with us today Reginald directly from New York. He will talk and he will present you New York City, some different itineraries, the different things, and an update of the actual situation in New York City. So same, if you've got any question, please don't hesitate. And if you've got a lot of question to Reginald, we will transfer to Reginald after the webinar without any problem. So don't hesitate to ask. Oh, so can I also, for the new who just arrived, can I just ask you to put you on mute mode, please? I have already tried up. So logically, everybody is on a mute mode. Okay. And can I also just ask you to turn off your camera to be sure? Great. So as I told you, this month we've got a webinar with New York City, and just before the explanation and the discovery with Reginald, let me introduce you a bit of New York City with just a short video. So let's go.
All right, Dorothy, this is it. I'm home.
You get off the plane and you're like, wow, I'm alive.
As soon as you land, take a cab. You can bike if you have a bike. You can skate. Why would you hail a cab if you can walk? Walking is a thing.
You could take the boat.
First of all, when you go to Times Square, you have to breathe because it's breathtaking.
Take a selfie.
Go see a Broadway show.
Go to the Empire State Building. Go to the top of Rockefeller Center.
Skyscrapers is the center of the world. Ελάτε στη Νέα Υόρκη.
There are so many tall buildings. Where is the sun?
In Hell's Kitchen, you can see the sun.
We've got every season here. Go see the Rockettes.
The Statue of Liberty.
Stonewall, which is incredibly historic. Comedies where revolutions happen.
Chelsea, Soho. Hay cosas ya de lujo. Es un área bien fancy, ¿me entiendes?
When you come here, you expect glamour. Diamonds, glamorous dress. Go to the opera.
Bike over the Brooklyn Bridge.
Brooklyn is epic and special.
Brooklyn. Got Coney Island. You get to happen upon things.
Yes.
You can get reggae, you can get soca, you can get Brazilian music.
And the band was popping. House music.
Just the idea of people still gathering and costume. I mean, you don't get this anymore.
You get to a certain block in Brooklyn, put your foot over, and you're in Queens.
The Rockaways, the beach, Porsche Meadow Park. They got the Mets over there. Small places that you never think exist. From there, we'll go up to the Bronx.
Nature.
The Bronx Zoo. And they got the Yankees.
I think that's baseball, right?
Manhattan never gets outclassed, and that's because of theater.
生存还是毁灭，这是一个值得思考的问题。
Staten Island.
Staten Island. There's something for everybody.
New York City is an awesome place to come with family.
You got things for kids. You got things for adults.
Even like museums have amazing story times.
The train in New York. You start off with a Showtime experience, then you'll see a couple falling in love.
The subway street dancing.
It's like this tiny universe.
Brooklyn, Manhattan, Staten Island, $3.
Take a ride on the subway.
And then, my dear, I want to people watch.
Saw a lady walking a pig,
All types of characters.
a guy get out of a cab with a duck, and we were just all like looking at him like, what the?
Go and get some pizza.
The reason why pizza's so good in the city, New York water's the best. Tap.
You must try halal food. 하얀 소스, 빨간 소스 다 해서 이렇게 비비면은
Oh, the high-end, the fine dining. You'll certainly get passion, whether it's a food truck or a high-end restaurant.
it's heaven for me.
Sometimes it's just about the love and the hands that makes the food.
Go to Little Italy and have a beautiful Italian dessert.
If you want real Italian food, go to Arthur Ave in the Bronx.
Mott Street, great dim sum. That's Chinese food.
General Tso's chicken. I even don't know who that guy is.
I think it's easy to be lost, but you can always ask questions.
I think the thing is to get lost in New York City.
I think you can really bring your culture to New York and preserve it.
That's the beauty of this organic city.
New York really promotes self-expression.
It creates new flavors of what once was coming from another country.
You got different kinds of ages, race, religions,
LGBTQ.
you put your dog in a stroller, I'm into that.
I don't know, ABCDFE.
You a pirate?
Z.
Ahoy, matey.
All of it. Everyone's welcome.
The biggest rainbow in the world.
I could leave my apartment house at 7 a.m. wearing a sequined wedding gown, and the doorman will say, "Good morning." That's New York.
Great. So, perfect. So now after this short video, Reggie, it's your time. So you can. We can't hear you. You don't have your mic. Your mic is off.
Yes, well, thank you very much. I'm going to open up my presentation and then, of course, hide myself because you don't need to see me. You need to see New York. So there we go. So good afternoon or bonjour. I hope that each of you and your families are doing well. My name, as Gerald had said, is Reginald Charlot. I am the Managing Director of Tourism Development for NYC Company. Voila, there I am. And this afternoon, I'm going to provide you with some updates on New York City. Now, if you don't know, NYC Company is the official destination marketing organization for the 5 boroughs of New York City. Our mission is to maximize travel and tourism opportunities throughout the city, build economic prosperity, and spread the dynamic image of New York City around the world. Now, I'm going to talk to you about a few NYC Company initiatives we put together since the beginning of this unfortunate situation. What's open in NYC? So you can check out what's open in New York City by accessing the What's Open in NYC section on nycgo.com, our website. The information can be filtered by borough, neighborhood, category, and businesses that have All in NYC Neighborhood Getaway Campaign offers. And I'll explain to you the All in NYC shortly. Next is to help the Stay Well Pledge. Now, this is to help the 5 boroughs reopen responsibly. We're asking tourism and hospitality businesses and their guests to take this Stay Well Pledge backed by public health protocols. Next is virtual programming. We continue to offer a variety of virtual programming such as Virtual NYC, Shop at NYC, Dine at NYC, and Virtual NYC site tours and virtual field trips. Now I'm going to take you through some COVID updates very quickly. So the New York Forward initiative was created by New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo. The main topic and point is that visitors, workers, and residents' safety is a first priority of NYC's recovery plans. In fact, Governor Cuomo announced new restrictions on public activity in response to a rapidly increasing rate of COVID across the country. They are effective they actually went into effect last week and include restaurants, bars, and gyms must close at 10 p.m. Curbside service of food may continue after 10 p.m. Parties in private residences should be capped or maximum of 10 people. New York State positivity rate continues to be low compared to the rest of the country. These rules are all about stopping the spread before it gets here. The governor also adjusted rules to get the economy going and has changed the testing and quarantine guidelines. As of November 3rd, all travelers from outside of New York State must test negative for the coronavirus within 3 days before their departure from their home state or country. Once staying in New York, travelers must quarantine for 3 days, then take another COVID-19 test on the 4th day. If the test is negative, the traveler no longer has to remain in quarantine. Travelers who choose not to be tested must remain in quarantine for 14 days. Visitors from all states sharing a common border with New York, which are Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, are exempt from these quarantine rules, but need to fill out the Traveler Health Form. Now, here are some key updates. Now, airports, subways, buses, and ferries, public transportation, and taxi rideshare services are available. The subway is closed from 1 a.m. until 5 a.m. for a deep cleaning on a daily basis. Hotels continue to open. This month, the Riu Plaza New York Times Square and the Carlyle Hotel have reopened. Now both outdoor and indoor dining with the capacity of 25% is available at restaurants. Bar areas are not available for service, though. Attractions such as all the observation decks, including One World Observatory, are now open. Museums such as the Met, MoMA, American Museum of Natural History, the Intrepid, the 9/11 Memorial Museum, Brooklyn Museum have reopened. Not just reopening, a brand new Fotografiska, the largest photography museum in the world, is now open in New York City. Shops, including shopping malls, are open with limited capacity. New York City implemented the Open Storefront program effective until December 31st. Just like the successful outdoor dining program, storefront businesses are now permitted to use a portion of their sidewalk to display merchandise, sell goods, and complete transactions, and provide queuing areas. The suspension of Broadway sales will continue through May 30, 2021. Other performing arts, such as the Met Opera and the Philharmonic, announced reopening will be next season in fall 2021. Sporting events can be held, but without spectators. And events such as the Thanksgiving Day Parade, which is coming next week, and the New Year's Eve celebration will be held virtually. And we just finished 2 weeks ago a successful virtual New York City marathon. All in, I mentioned this briefly in a statement earlier. Now, New York City NYC Company created a brand revitalization campaign called All In NYC. It is a rally cry for New Yorkers to capture the infinite experiences of New York City. Let me read you the manifesto. Life has changed in dramatic and unexpected ways this year. Although these changes have had a particularly strong impact on New York City, we as New Yorkers have once again shown the world our trademark resilience. What follows shows our revitalization campaign, designed by and for New Yorkers, that seek to capture the infinite experiences of New York City life and the immutable spirit of the people who live here. This is an invitation to all of us, New Yorkers and New Yorkers at heart, to go all in on this city as we begin our inevitable revival. Here's a brief video that captures the spirit of New York City. Here's a video.
We don't have the sound.
So let's talk about New York City. So New York City is the largest city in the United States with 8.6 million people. Being one of the most diverse cities in the world, New York City is truly a melting pot and culture. An amazing example of this cultural amalgamation is a range of languages spoken in New York City. Depending on which of the 5 boroughs your client is in, they may recognize Spanish, Chinese, Russian, French, Haitian Creole, Yiddish, Bengali, Arabic, Urdu, Greek, Tagalog, and many other languages spoken. So what is a borough anyway? It's like a smaller city within our massive metropolis. NYC has 5 of them, which in alphabetical order includes the Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, and Staten Island, each with dozens of neighborhoods lending their own local flavor. Now, the Bronx. Let's start with the Bronx. There we are. The Bronx is home to over 1.4 million residents. There are more than 50 neighborhoods in the Bronx. The northernmost borough is the birthplace of hip hop and some of the New York Yankees. Blockbuster films such as A Bronx Tale and a small screen hit like Bugs Bunny were filmed and recorded in the Bronx. Celebrities such as actress and singer Jennifer Lopez, actress Kerry Washington, and the late comedian George Carlin all hail from the Bronx. As mentioned earlier, our revitalization campaign platform will help New Yorkers reconnect with the city they love and remind locals that New York City remains the greatest city in the world. Within the campaign, we have developed a video series called All in NYC Portraits that provide an intimate look into businesses throughout the 5 boroughs. They can be viewed at nycgo.com/all-in-NYC-portraits. But let's take a look at the Bronx Beer Hall Brothers portrait now.
Yes, Reggie, I think that we don't have the sound during the video. Did you tick the box including sound when you share the screen?
I'm understanding that you're not able to hear the video. Is this correct for everyone?
We can see the video, but we can't hear anything. We don't have any sound.
Okay.
But I think this is when you share, you don't have to tick the box to include the sound out of the video.
I see. Let me just fix that momentarily. Let me try to fix that for everyone momentarily.
Yeah.
1 second. Let me try to work this.
I think it will be easier if you disconnect the presentation and you reconnect the presentation. And when you reshare the presentation, just tick the box, and logically you should have the sound.
Okay, so I will do that. Okay, here I am again. Voila. Okay. Thank you very much. See, it's a team effort. That's how we do things in New York City. We're very helpful and we're a team effort. So thank you very much, guys. So don't worry, we have a few more videos that you can hear and be able to pay attention to. So I'm going to take you now on a few options for itinerary suggestions. One second, let me get myself organized. All right. Okay, so let's take you on a brief itinerary. First, let's talk about the Bronx Zoo, which reopened on July 2nd. The current experience includes outdoor exhibitions and grounds, but tickets must be booked in advance. The Bronx Zoo and Arthur Avenue, we continue on. After a morning or early afternoon at the zoo, enjoy an Italian meal at nearby Arthur Avenue, where a handful of blocks are transformed each Thursday to Sunday into an outdoor piazza for alfresco dining. Also, the Opera House Hotel is a historic hotel in the South Bronx, located approximately 20 minutes from Arthur Avenue. Formerly, the Bronx Opera House has been renovated to preserve the iconic theater. Guests may stay in the same place that hosted performances by Harry Houdini, the Marx Brothers, and John and Lionel Barrymore. The New York Botanical Garden has reopened its grounds and many of its outdoor collections. Time entry tickets are required and can be reserved a few weeks ahead. There are places to eat outdoors on the grounds and plenty of family-friendly activities to enjoy. Wave Hill, which opened on July 30, visiting the 11-hectare of garden and woodlands require advanced reservations. In addition to admiring the flowers and wooded landscape, you can take in views of the Hudson and Palisades. It's open Thursdays through Sundays for now. Now let's talk about my borough, which is where I live in Brooklyn. Now Brooklyn is home to over 2.5 million residents, and there are more than 70 neighborhoods in Brooklyn. Superfans can catch basketball at the Barclays Center watching the Brooklyn Nets in downtown Brooklyn. You'll love the view of the scenic Brooklyn Heights Promenade. Popular films such as The Godfather and Sophie's Choice, and television shows such as Boardwalk Empire were among productions filmed in Brooklyn. Brooklyn is also home to many celebrities such as Jay-Z, the late artist Jean-Michel Basquiat, and the singer and actress Barbara Streisand. Let's take a look at a Brooklyn portrait, The Caribbean, now.
My name is Shelley Worrell, and I'm the founder of Little Caribbean NYC. It's a neighborhood in central Brooklyn, home to a huge concentration of Caribbean culture, whether it's food, small business, and just people. And I started to ask, why is there not a Little Caribbean? I think our community has been hard hit. At one point, my zip code, it had one of the highest rates of COVID-19. And then it occurred to me that that meant that the Caribbean community were being disproportionately affected. But on the flip side, I personally have been able to be involved in some really great efforts to support the community. The city of New York reached out for us to distribute 40,000 masks to small businesses. So we were able to get that done within a week so that they could be safe and keep our community safe. So it's been really wonderful just to see how the community has corralled together to support each other.
And so let's go to Crown Heights and Prospect Park in Brooklyn, a neighborhood in Brooklyn. So the 21-hectare Brooklyn Botanical Garden, which opened this past summer in August, with advanced time entry tickets available on its website, is full of natural beauty. The garden has more than 18,000 kinds of plants from all over the world. After visiting the garden, take a loop around Prospect Park using one of the park's many nature trails. Make it a full day in the park and visit the Prospect Park Zoo. Tickets must be reserved in advance on the zoo's website. Now, Dumbo, which stands for Down Under the Manhattan Bridge Overpass, you can take a stroll through their cobbled streets and make your way to the Brooklyn Bridge Park to enjoy views of Lower Manhattan. While on the waterfront, check out Public Art Fund's Reverberation, the new large-scale exhibition by Davina Semo at Pier 1. Also, as you see here, you can visit Grimaldi's Pizza for thin crust, coal-fired pizza, or the recently reopened Time Out Market, offering a curated lineup of food purveyors and rooftop views of the East River and the Manhattan skyline. And then, of course, you could end your day at the One Hotel Brooklyn Bridge, a nearby waterfront retreat, or the New York Marriott at the Brooklyn Bridge, just a short distance away in downtown Brooklyn. Now let's talk about Manhattan, which most are familiar with. So when newcomers think of New York City, they often envision Manhattan, but there's more to the borough than big name attractions, renowned museums, thousands of restaurants, and bright lights of Broadway, including charming blocks, funky shops, hidden green spaces. Manhattan is home to over 1.6 million residents. Manhattan serves as one of the most popular television and movie production locations and is featured in such classics as Breakfast at Tiffany's, the television series Sex and the City and Friends. New television shows and movies are always in the works in Manhattan. Celebrities from Manhattan include singer and songwriter Alicia Keys, Lady Gaga, actor Robert Downey Jr., and the late artist Andy Warhol, and many more. Let's take a look at Manhattan portrait, Casa Magazine.
My name is Muhammad Ahmad. I'm on the Casa Magazine since 1994.
My name is Happy and I run the Instagram account for Casa Magazines. Every time you come here, there's somebody beside you who's so interesting, somebody who actually works in the magazine. Like the photographers, the writers, this is their local newsstand.
Now, after this COVID, business is very bad. It's very hard to survive nowadays.
I decided to post about La Bonbonnaise GoFundMe, and that just like blew up the fundraising for them overnight. So because of their GoFundMe, we created our GoFundMe, and the synergy really helped the both of them. We built this community of like 15,000, and we just have to keep helping. So we started posting about everybody else's fundraising efforts. Everybody comes together and helps each other out. That's the spirit of New York.
Yes, it is the spirit of New York. And let's take you through a little itinerary. If we look at the Hudson Yards, if you're familiar, the climbable public art piece, The Vessel, and the highest outdoor observation deck in the Western Hemisphere, The Edge, both of which reopened at the beginning of September. For a fitness-focused holiday stay, spend the weekend at the Equinox Hotel, Hudson Yards, with complimentary access to the 5,500 square meter flagship Equinox Fitness Club in a studio or a suite or you can stay in a studio or suite in the Hotel Beacon. Now the High Line, which reopened in early September, the Whitney Museum of American Art offers the new show Around Day's End, Downtown New York, 1970 to 1986, featuring works from nearly 24 artists while paying homage to Gordon Matta Clark's Day's End. Also on display is Vida Americana, Mexican muralist remake American Art, 1925 to 1945, which showcases how two countries influenced each other artistically in the last century. Then you can take a walk on the High Line, as we mentioned, the elevated West Side Park, which offers free time tickets. The number of visitors is limited, and tickets should be reserved in advance. You can book that at thehighline.org. Take a break along the way at or double back to Chelsea's Mimos Shishi Kebab for a taste of Mediterranean food. The Highline Hotel is a mid-1800s masterpiece and federal historic landmark on a majestic grounds that have enjoyed from the property's outdoor lounge, Daisy Cocktail Garden. Now, Lower Manhattan and the 9/11 Memorial Museum is a moving tribute to those who were lost in the World Trade Center attacks. The Memorial's Plaza twin pools offer graceful, competitive space for reflection. Take a small group for Experience First NYC tours to get an in-depth look at the 9/11 Memorial and Wall Street. Queens. The second to last borough we'll be talking about. Queens is home to over 2.2 million residents. There are more than 70 neighborhoods in Queens, and my favorite team, the New York Mets, plays baseball at Citi Field, or you can also catch a tennis match at the US Open Tennis, which is next door. Foodies covet the Greek dining cuisine of Astoria and the authentic Asian food in Flushing. Some notable celebrities from Queens are rappers 50 Cent, LL Cool J, and songwriters Simon and Garfunkel. Let's take a look at Queen's portrait, Near's Tavern, now.
My name is Loyson Gordon. I'm the owner of Historic Near's Tavern, one of the oldest bars in New York City, and probably one of the oldest ones in the country. Goodfellas was filmed right here in this bar. Queens is where I first landed when I came from the island of Jamaica. And when I saw that one of the most oldest historic bars was going to close and it's located in my new neighborhood, I said, I have to do something. I am fortunate to have the type of people in the Woodhaven community that exist today. These are people that believe in the values of being a community member, of taking action. We tested over 200 people for the antibody. We tested 91 people for cardiovascular health issues right in front of Near's Tavern while we were shut down. This is what it means to be resilient, and this is what it means to be all in.
Now let's take you through a nice itinerary in Forest Hills. In honor of the US Open, Forest Hills and the Westside Tennis Club, where the modern incarnation of the tournament was inaugurated and held annually until 1978. You will need to be a member to play today, but not to view the Tudor-style clubhouse or enormous main stadium. Explore Forest Park, known for its high hills, views of the Atlantic Ocean and the Long Island Sound, and fun golf courses. A little outside of the park is New York City's oldest ice cream parlor, Edie's Sweet Shop. Long Island City, Socrates Sculptural Park, an open studio and exhibition space for artists, as well as neighborhood park. Once an abandoned landfill, the grounds hold installations and are a great place to picnic with a view of Manhattan skyline. Currently on display is Monuments Now, a timely series of pieces that highlight underrepresented histories. Explore more of Long Island City, a vibrant neighborhood dotted with turn-of-the-century industrial buildings that have been transformed into galleries, museums, and studios. Take in the views from Gantry Plaza State Park on the East River. Or you can grab some grub or some food at one of Long Island City's many outdoor dining spots, such as Mariella, Sweet Leaf, Bibbi's, or M. Wells Steakhouse. Enjoy skyline views of Midtown Manhattan from a room at the Wyndham Garden, Long Island City, or from the Borough Hotel, New York, which features a rooftop lounge. At Flushing Meadow, Corona Park, site of two World's Fair, Flushing Meadows, Corona Park is full of green space, fantastic relics from a few museums. Though those indoor spaces haven't reopened yet, one attraction in the park has. The Queens Zoo, home to bison, tiny deer, giant rabbits, is open to visitors. Just make sure to reserve your tickets in advance. The Queens Drive-In, behind the New York Hall of Sciences. Movies on the schedule include Hollywood classics and international art house favorites. Views of the sunset and the Hall's famous Rockettes are part of the experience. A portion of every ticket sale will be donated to Elm Corps, a local non-for-profit organization that provides support for the communities in Queens hardest hit by the pandemic. Last but not least, Staten Island. Now, Staten Island abounds with museums, architectural landmarks, beaches, and parkland, including the city's largest forest preserve. Staten Island is home to nearly 500,000 residents. Major films such as Goodfellas and A Beautiful Mind have been filmed in Staten Island, and the characters from the popular TV series, television show, Impractical Jokers all hail from the borough. Also to note, celebrities such as Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward are from Staten Island. Let's take a look at Staten Island portrait, Snug Harbor now.
My name is Puyan Taglianetti. I'm the Visitor Services and Education Coordinator here at Snug Harbor Cultural Center and Botanical Garden. Our program stopped and we closed our buildings, but our grounds and our outdoor gardens have been open this entire time. It's a place of complete peace and serenity. So many people tell us that they come to escape the daily stress. I get to come here on my off hours and enjoy it as a patron and not as an employee. Being here on the North Shore, a number of businesses that we regularly had frequented, a lot of these restaurants have parking lots that they've been able to convert to outdoor dining spaces. You have a renewed appreciation for those things that you might have taken for granted before. I mean, community is not just your geographical location, but it's those bonds that you have with your neighbor. To me, like, that's community.
Now, Staten Island, you can take a ride on the Staten Island Ferry from Manhattan's Whitehall Ferry Terminal to St. George. Enjoy exceptional views of the Statue of Liberty and Lower Manhattan along the way. A 3-minute walk from the ferry terminal, the National Lighthouse Museum, which reopened August 26, educates visitors about the history and technology of the nation's lighthouses. Catch up on shopping in New York City's only outlet shopping destination called Empire Outlets. It's all outdoors and has views of Lower Manhattan. You can enjoy a grab-and-go food and beverage option at the outlets, including Shake Shack, Starbucks, and Haagen-Dazs. Now you head south from the ferry terminal and St. George to reach Flagship Brewery, which serves up cold brews street side at the Craft Garden. From the ferry, you could also make your way along over to explore the grounds of Snug Harbor, as you just saw in the portraits video, a garden-filled retreat on the waterfront. Each summer week, Wellness Wednesdays on the South Meadow features farm fresh produce, meditation workshop, and music. The Staten Island Museum on the grounds of Snug Harbor marks the centennial of the 19th Amendment of the U.S. with Women of the Nation Arise, Staten Islanders in the fight for women's rights to vote. The exhibition is running outdoors, showcasing the stories of local suffragists who worked to effect change on a national level. Now, here's some information and resources that you can all take advantage of, which is going to be on our landing page, is a one-step resource for everything you need to know about New York City as it relates to COVID. This can be found at nycgo.com/coronavirus. You will find on the site the most recent updates for the city, including recovery status, travel restrictions, health and safety guidelines, and more. Virtual NYC provides online resources for museums, galleries, comedy clubs, theaters, and other venues, allowing your client to experience the best of New York City virtually. It's an excellent way to whet a potential visitor's interest for an upcoming or future trip. Virtual NYC site tours, while in-person visits are not possible at the moment, event and leisure professionals can still explore New York City's unparalleled meeting options online. No matter a group's size, budget, or needs, the city's iconic hotels and world-class event spaces are ready to welcome back visitors and delegates when the time is right. And now, tools and resources for you. So the webinar series, All in NYC Travel Trade webinar series and All in NYC Meeting webinar series launched last month. Now, as the COVID-19 pandemic continues to affect travel globally, these comprehensive monthly webinars will provide educational updates and opportunities to connect with New York City's world-class hospitality, tourism, meetings, and events industry. in partnership with NYC Company member businesses. Just to note, our next all-in travel trade webinar will be held on December 10th, and it will be focusing on family travel. So please stay tuned, and you should be receiving information about this very soon. Our Trade Pass. There's also our Trade Pass, which gives certified travel professionals, such as yourselves, exclusive deals and discounts at restaurants, cultural and sightseeing attractions, theater, and more. The Trade Pass is currently suspended for the rest of 2020, but you can sign up now to receive your 2021 Trade Pass once it has been released. So I would like to thank you all for joining me this morning to learn, or this afternoon, I'm sorry, to learn about New York City. We appreciate your continued support and look forward to welcoming you and your clients back to New York City as soon as possible. Stay safe and be well.
Thank you very much, Reggie, for this nice overview of New York. It was really interesting. And I hope you all had all the information that you everything. So I still have a few information for you before we finish this webinar. Here I also wanted to share with you, as you know, regarding the flights and regarding the future of the trip to New York City as well. As you all know, actually, we've got 3 direct flights daily to New York from Brussels. So we've got 1 flight per day, 7 days per week to Newark with the United Airlines. We've got 1 flight per day, 7 days per week to JFK with Delta Airlines. And we also have 1 flight per day, 7 days a week to JFK. This is really important, and also something which is really important about the flight from Brussels. This is that logically for 2021 we should have the pre-clearance at the Brussels airport. So which means that we should have the American borders directly at Brussels airport. So so this is something that which really help us to continue to promote the destination and also to motivate some clients to go to the US. You also have you also have actually something that I wanted to talk about here during this this webinar. This is something really useful for you and for your clients. Ah oui, évidemment. So this is regarding the Big Apple Greeter. The Big Apple Greeter, those are some New Yorkers who has decided to make some tours of New York, of the different boroughs of New York that we have seen here with Reginald. And the good thing is that they have decided to do it for free. So you can ask for a greeter for your clients, and the only thing that they ask, of course, is a tip due to the tour that they propose and the service that they propose. But otherwise, that's it. So I think it could be a great opportunity and something good also for your client. I can also send you the information, because here I can see that my computer don't want to share anything actually, but it's not a problem. I can send you all the information about that. And here, just to finish, don't forget that this webinar is part of our Visit USA Specialist Program. So after the webinar, you will all receive an email with a link for the quiz. So don't hesitate to play the quiz and to answer all the questions to be part of our program. So I think that's it. I've talked about everything. So thank you very much to all the participants, all the travel agents. We all cross the finger and we all hope that we could be able to travel soon to the US. to meet our friend again to the US, and really to continue our good job. So thank you very much to all. If you've got any question, please don't hesitate. You can post them on the chat, and I will transfer them to Reginald if it's for Reginald, and if it's for the Visit USA, don't hesitate to. We will answer to all the questions you could have. So thank you very much. Stay safe, and see you next month for another webinar. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.